Treasure Island, Part 5. In a tense atmosphere charged with events, the men gathered in their council while I watched Silver. They had finally returned, and Silver was pretending to be friendly, but I sensed something hidden looming on the horizon. Everyone seemed prepared for battle, and when they handed him the black spot, the tension escalated further. "Why did you cut this from the Bible? You are cursed," shouted Silver, sparking arguments among them. When he read the word deposed, the quarrels reignited. George accused Silver of ruining the voyage, but Silver didn't hesitate to defend himself, pointing out the betrayals he had faced. A verbal battle ensued between them as things grew worse. The atmosphere was charged, and I felt that each one was trying to manipulate the other. Then, suddenly, Silver threw the treasure map on the ground, igniting their excitement to a frenzy. Hostilities turned into a competition for the promised wealth. Despite everything, Silver still seemed to possess strength and confidence. While George tried to regain his standing, the winds were blowing in Silver's favor. "Choose whom you want, I will retire," Silver exclaimed, but the shouts of support for him filled the room. Amid this chaos, I realized we were nearing the end of a dangerous game. I couldn't predict our fate, but I was certain that Silver would do everything he could to survive. My heart ached for him, despite all his wickedness, because he knew well that darkness awaited him at every turn. Everyone awoke to the sound of the doctor's arrival, and the situation was awkward for me. Silver greeted the doctor with unusual warmth, even telling him that all the patients were fine, then added with excitement, "We have a little surprise for you, Jim is here." This shocked the doctor. When he realized who the little stranger was, he was taken aback but continued to examine the pirates before speaking to me. The doctor assured me that he would do his best to keep everyone healthy until they returned to England, even if it meant bidding them farewell at the gallows. The pirates opposed the doctor's desire to speak with me privately, but Silver intervened angrily, demanding silence. Silver assured the doctor that he was grateful for his care, then took me outside. The pirates were annoyed, but Silver reassured them that they would not break the truce. When we reached the doctor, Silver said he needed his help to save his life, despite knowing he was sentenced to death. He admitted he was not afraid, but hoped the doctor would remember what he had done for me. The doctor told me that I was the one trying to save them and attempted to persuade me to go with him, but I clung to my promise. The doctor then spoke with Silver, warning him about the dangers of searching for the treasure. Silver replied that he had to do it, or he would be killed. The doctor reassured him that he would do everything he could to save him if they survived. The visit ended with exchanged greetings, and the doctor walked away smiling, while I felt that hope still existed, even in the darkest circumstances. Things began to escalate when Silver expressed his gratitude for saving his life, reminding me that the doctor had advised me to escape, but I hadn't. Silver expressed his hatred for this task and said he didn't want to search for the treasure today, preferring to stay close to me. After breakfast, Silver boasted that he had planned to retrieve the treasure and intended to sail with the crew while keeping me as a hostage. The men laughed, and excitement showed on their faces. I felt anxious about Silver's newfound loyalty to the doctor and wondered what would happen if his crew discovered his betrayal. Everyone armed themselves, and Silver led us enthusiastically, wielding my 2 guns and his heavy sword, while his parrot chattered on his shoulder. We followed the instructions on the map, and the men argued about which tree was the tall tree indicated, but Silver reassured them that they would soon recognize the right one. We continued smoothly, but soon we heard terrified screams from one of the crew. We rushed toward the sound to find a skeleton of a man lying beside a tree. Silver questioned the direction of the bones and took out a compass to check the way. Silver realized that this was the marker left by Captain Flint. One of the men commented on Flint's mysterious history, pointing out that he brought bad luck. But Silver interrupted, urging everyone to focus on the treasure and not to dwell on the past. Despite that, a feeling of anxiety dominated the group, as the skeleton left a deep impact on their hearts. Nevertheless, we all prepared to continue the search for the treasure, in an atmosphere of tension and anticipation, as our future hung in the balance. The pirates felt tired after a long journey, and they sat talking about Captain Flint, who had a bad reputation. But suddenly, their conversation was interrupted by a strange voice calling, 15 men on the dead man's chest, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum. The men were terrified, believing that Flint had returned from the dead. One of them shouted that those were his last words, increasing everyone's anxiety. As panic gripped them, Silver managed to maintain his composure, pointing out that the voice was human, not a ghost. As the terror grew, one of them muttered that the voice resembled Ben Gunn's, which worried them a little, but it was not enough to stop them. Silver continued to lead me forward, and we crossed an area devoid of trees to a deep pit. At the pit, we found a broken pickaxe and pieces of a wooden chest, indicating that the treasure might have been here. As we approached, the sight provoked an uproar of anger among the men, but Silver acted quickly, handing me a pistol. When the men jumped into the pit searching for treasure, they found only a single coin. They turned to Silver, accusing him of deception. Suddenly, flames erupted from Silver's pistols, and some men, including George Merry, fell into the pit. With the appearance of the doctor and Ben Gunn, we raced through the jungle to prevent the others from escaping. Later, we discovered that Ben Gunn had found the treasure and moved it to a cave before our arrival. After Ben led us in the attack, we managed to escape and return to the boats. We reached the cave, where we found Captain Smollett lying beside vast amounts of gold. Many had given their lives for this treasure. When the adventure ended, we sat down to eat, and Silver seemed as he was at the beginning, a loyal and friendly man, a stark contrast to everything we had witnessed on the journey. After our thrilling adventures, we began transferring the vast treasure to our boats, heading toward Hispaniola. My task was to pack the treasure into cloth bags, a laborious task that took time, but it was worth the effort. The treasure consisted of various coins from around the world, including Spanish and Italian gold, and even a strange Chinese coin. One night, we heard the commotion of the mutineers, but we were avoiding Silver, even though he appeared friendly. We decided to leave the mutineers on the island to face their fate. After preparing the ship, we started to leave, but we passed by the 3 pirates who begged us to take them with us. Nevertheless, we ignored them, and they fired at us, putting us in danger. As we left the island, I felt overwhelming joy, and the mountain peak faded behind us. Upon returning to Hispaniola, we learned that Silver had escaped with a small boat and some coins. We felt relieved to hear of his departure. Then we set off on our way home, where we divided the treasure after our return, each benefiting in our own way. While Gray invested his money and married, Ben Gunn lost his share within weeks and returned to begging. Captain Smollett retired, while we heard no news of Silver. As for me, I decided never to return to Treasure Island. Although the treasure may still be there, my nightmares bring me memories of the raging waves and Captain Flint's voice, shouting, "Coins, coins." The story has ended, and see you next time for more stories. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive all the latest updates. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.